Hello, my fish fam. Welcome. We're going to be playing a more control-y version of Merfolk. It's Merfolk Control. Also, you could have called, like, I don't know, Merfolk Fairy Control. And to be honest, there's more fairies in here than there are Merfolk. But there's still quite a bit of Merfolk. We got the Svalun, we got Brineborn Cutthroat, and Mutavault still counts. And it plays like a Merfolk deck. And if you want to see how... I mean, honestly, this is a really overpowered deck. This is the most powerful deck I've played since, like, 2015. And I want to share it with you because it's just ripping apart a lot of the competition. And it needs way more exposure than it actually does. And if there's any community to bring this to the forefront, it would be the Merfolk community. It's got you know what it is? It's literally all the Merfolk toolbox cards brought together and then just basically dumping all the other Merfolk, like removing Ether Vial. Honestly, I think Ether Vial would be a really good card for this deck. But, yeah, like, you strip it of the Lords and Silver Gill Adepts, and you're playing with Chalice of the Void. If you're a hardcore Merfolk player, you have all these cards already. You have your playset of Chalice of the Voids. I told you not to sell them. I told you not to sell your Chalice of the Voids. If you sold them, it's too late. Subtlety, Dismember, Vendilion Click. I've played with Vendilion Click many times. It helped me get to the top 8 of a Grand Prix. Svalun is a new addition. Force of Negation, Brazen Borrower, Counterspell, Brineborn, Cutthroat. Although this is the first time this is actually seeing competitive play prior to... like, we knew this was a card, but no one could really use it very well, and I think this deck uses it actually quite well. And the only new addition, like we've played with Fairy Conclave, Mutavault many times in the past, the only brand new addition is probably Blast Zone, and it's actually key to beating Ragavon's Dragon Rage Channelers, giving you a really good game versus Murktide, giving you a lot of game versus the Hammer Time decks, which are deadly, absolutely deadly in the metagame. Oh wait, what's going on here? I mean to... Hold on, where's my Nimble... Supposed to be 2 Nimble Obstructionists in the sideboard. 2 Nimble Obstructionists. Okay, so this is what I'm really playtesting. I was just, like, fiddling around with my sideboard. This thing belongs over here. There we go, the Nimble Obstructionist. That's also somewhat of a new one. So the deal is, this thing has game against everything, and I thought, oh wow, I'd be bad against Tron. No, I crushed Tron. Crushed Tron, no problem. No big deal at all, because of Brineborn Cutthroat and all the creature lands like Mutavault. So, this is an adaptation. It's funny. This is basically an adaptation of M. Hayashi's Mono Blue control list, which is presented here, more or less. This is like Zeagle's version. But the main deck is like M. Hayashi with Hall of the Storm Giants, Fairy Conclave. I'm not in love as much as M. Hayashi is on Hall of the Storm Giants because it costs like 6 mana to activate, and you do get that far in the game. That will happen. You will go long. There will be matchups where you really go long. But I really believe in Mutavault. I think I play this all the time. I attack, I block in almost every single match. You're going to see me attack and block with this thing constantly in these leagues. And it gives me great game against Tron. So M. Hayashi was scared of Tron. I'm not scared of Tron. I've beaten every Tron deck I've ever played because I've got an active creature land that can get into the red zone. Not to mention, I think very important improvements against this deck is the removal of Ancestral Vision. Ancestral Vision, I want this card so badly to be good. It's trash. It's so bad. It's a really bad card late game. It can be undermined very easily if the opponent sees the Ancestral Vision and at just the right moment positions a Teferi Time Raveler to make sure that the Ancestral Vision does not even get cast the time that the last suspend counter is removed. And lastly, very often I'll go like turn 1 Ancestral Vision, and then I find out I'm against Living End or Crashing Footfall. I need to put this thing on 0. And then all of a sudden, Ancestral Vision just get countered by my own Chalice of the Void. So it's too clunky to play, got rid of it. Now, one thing I basically removed this for Brineborn Cutthroat, which on turn 2, if I have nothing else to do, I can, like, if I didn't play my counterspell, if I didn't bounce anything with Brazen Borrower, let's put a creature in play, and it's not bad. It even absorbs some removal if that ever happens. So, like, you play your Brineborn Cutthroat, they kill it. That's one less removal spell that's going to be eaten on your Svalun or Brazen Bar or Vendilion Click. So I just like to proactively put something in play, and they do compound. You go Brineborn into Brineborn and more creatures, and all of a sudden you got like more than 10 power on the battlefield, just out of nowhere. So you can definitely close out games. What else do I want to say about this deck? Okay, I used to have the Hex Catcher, but you know what? The combo decks are there's too many combo decks. Creativity is really popular. Scapeshift's very popular. Vendilion Click ended up being an amazing card. And the funny thing is, the more I change this deck, adding Counterspell in the main Vendilion Click, it's like I'm going back to M. Hayashi's list. Maybe in the end, M. Hayashi is just right. Maybe he's just right. And there's another thing. Like, I do have one problem. A lot of people are intimidated by the colorless lands. And I have to admit, when I played with, like... Oh, sorry. This used to be Spellstutter Sprite. Or sorry, no, this used to be Spellstutter Sprite, and I had Counterspell. Putting Counterspell in the deck, not too bad. I don't need Counterspell for turn 2. I don't need Counterspell for turn 3. I need Counterspell versus the Scapeshift and the Creativity decks on turn 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I can be patient for that blue mana. But you know what I really can't be too patient with? Blue on turn 3. And according to Frank Carson, you need 18 blue sources, and I don't have that. So I have to admit, I have to make some concession with my mana base, either like removing 2 Mutavaults, 1 Mutavault, 1 Blast Zone, 2 Blast Zones. It honestly might be the Mutavaults that are going to get cut. Even though I get more utility out of it, I probably desperately need Blast Zones against those really harsh decks. Or maybe I bin the Blast Zones to the sideboard, side them in at the right moment. So Ruben says, why Mutavault? It attacks and blocks it in like every matchup. Not to mention... Svaeloon randomly can become indestructible. You got 2 Mutavaults on the battlefield. Someone tries to kill your Svaeloon, activate the Mutavaults. That's it. It's gone. Now, it has another additional utility. You can activate it. It's a fairy. And then you play Spellstutter Sprite to counter more things. I think Spellstutter Sprite, grossly underrated card right now in the metagame. Very grossly. Flash Flying, enters the battlefield, counter target spell with mana value X or less, where X is the number of fairies you control. So this has a lot of purposes. The first and foremost is that it's hate against Living End and the Crashing Footfall deck. So if you try to cascade into a 0-drop, I'm just going to play Spellstutter Sprite. And even if you kill the Spellstutter Sprite, I still counter your spell. Also gets around things like Force of Negation. So if you tried to play Living End on my turn, Violent Outburst, and had that Force of Negation backup, sorry! This is not a non-creature spell, so it's a means of getting around that type of removal. Still gets hit by the... what's called Mystical Dispute, but it's harder to protect their combo, let's just say. And then when you counter something with Spellstutter Sprite, you get in for like 5 to 6 damage. People completely ignore that. Or you get to block like Ragavan or something. It actually trades and gets more value. How the hell was that card a common? Well, it's actually hard to back up. Like, there's not a lot of fairies that exist. But I think Spellstutter Sprite, its time is right now. It's a really good moment. There's a lot of 1-drops in the metagame. So you can, like, realistically activate Mutavault, play Spellstutter Sprite, and then if they kill your Spellstutter Sprite, activate Mutavault in response, and you still counter the 1-drops. I've countered, like, tons of Ragavans and Dragon Rage Channelers and 1-mana removal with Spellstutter Sprite. It works out quite nicely. And then if you can get like a few Brazen Bars out, Vendilion Click, then you start countering much more expensive spells. Why isn't it in the main deck? Because I can't counter Creativity or Scapeshift. I mean, and those are way too popular. I guarantee you we're going to play against a Creativity deck in this league. It's that so important to play against. That's why I got Counterspell in the main. But you could swap this back at the right moment in the right matchup, in my opinion. But Counterspell is just too important at the moment. Yeah, this deck hits all bases. What else to say about the deck list? Nimble Obstructionist. I want this card. I'm hoping it's good versus Elementals, so that when they try to evoke a creature, you just, boom, hit them. You cycle the Nimble Obstructionist. When you cycle Nimble Obstructionist, counter target activate or triggered ability you don't control. So I can bring this in all the matchups where some cards are dead, like and you can also hit Cascade. So when they play Violent Outburst, boom, hit Cascade. You can't Force of Negation that. You can't Mystical Dispute this. This is an ability. See, it's a way of getting under a lot of stuff. I think maybe I should have more copies of Nimble Obstructionist in my sideboard. However, I just can't play against the decks. I'm just not getting paired up against them. It's too bad. But I'm hoping this swings the matchup in the 4-color Omnath deck. And worst case scenario, it's just a creature. So, like, if I'm up against, say, Merfolk, I'm going to side out all my Chalices, all my counter spells. I'm going to bring in creatures. 4 Spellstutter Sprite, 4 Nimble Obstructionist, and then 2 Ratchet Bomb. Can the Obstructionist hit Saga turn 3? Absolutely. I have Saga the Search or the creature many times, and you get to draw a card out of it. They still get some value out of their Saga, but whatever, you can't hit everything. So that it has a lot of niche uses. Haven't played in years. Recognize these fairies from when blue-black fairies dominated standard. Bitter Blossom, bro. Bitter Blossom. Welcome. If you want to, so if you've never heard my opinion on Bitter Blossom, I think it's garbage. So with that, let's get into our Modern League. Can't wait to show you the powerhouse. I hope I don't get mana screwed. That also explains... I mean, I do think I have to jam 2 more blue sources in the main deck. I think I have to. I have to admit that I do have too many colorless sources, but... whatevers. Mark says, hey, Nikachu, wanted to say thanks for all the content. You're welcome, Mark. I appreciate you. Appreciate all thousands of you. Especially if you're named Mark. And once I show it, like, this deck just wrecks it. I don't want to say it wrecks everything. It has weaknesses, but, like, it's really well positioned. And then I'd love to adopt as many of these ideas to just the regular Merfolk deck. What do you think the deck's worst matchup is? Something like, I still don't know if I have any edge versus the Omnath deck, so by default, that one's still bad. But I haven't played against it since I played Nimble Obstructionist. Worst matchup is probably just, like, Soul Herder, Ice Fang Quaddle decks. So basically it goes, you got lands and spells, you just keep it, and then hope for the best. And actually, this is a pretty premium hand. We've got Chalice of the Void in combination to, we have got 2 lands, so we can play Brazen Bar and Counterspell in this hand, so we're going to keep. And if they try to play any turn 1 shenanigans, we can always force a negation. Looks like we're up against, like, Blue-Red Murktide. Probably. Yep. Okay, so... this hand would be way better on the play, but hopefully it's still good on the draw. We will aim to position a Chalice of the Void on 1, and we're probably going to get our face beaten in for a little while. And one reason that Brazen Bar is so good in this matchup is that if they commit a Murktide to the battlefield, well, whatever, you just bounce it back and makes it harder for them to... Ooh, I needed you on turn 1. Pretty high chance I'm going to use this. Like, if they play Ledger Shredder, I'll just snap off Subtlety. Going in for that 1. Welcome, Shades. So here's the deal. Actually, I should say, like, I don't feel like I need luck with this deck. This deck is so damn powerful. I know what dirty secrets you're trying to do. Okay, so there is a very high percentage of a chance they're holding up Spell Pierce or Counterspell themselves. So this is a spot I cannot play the Chalice of the Void yet. We got to position this properly. I can pass the turn and still have Counterspell and Petty Theft up. So I'm not going to take a chance in playing Chalice and it gets countered and then they just go all ham on me next turn. Let's fight a war on their turn. I can even back it up with 2 Force Negations and then slam the Chalice. It doesn't take that much to beat this deck. Like, they can't beat the Chalice of the Void. The Chalice beats them. So I have to say, I don't care if I win or lose the die roll. I feel like I always win with this deck. You don't even attack! Oh, they're afraid of Trickster or something? Okay, I'm not going to waste my mana, so we'll Petty Theft. If they Counterspell, we'll Force Negate, get rid of Counterspell. And I have to say, I feel very protected whenever I have Subtlety and Force Negation. Archmage's Charm, well, that's not going to work out for you at all. They got rid of Unholy Heat. Excellent choice. Get rid of Counterspell. Because I'm going to tap out next turn, so Counterspell is not very valuable. Subtlety is... okay, buy your Subtleties, people. If you're serious about playing Merfolk or, like, this type of deck, you need Subtlety. No way around it. Alright. Hope you enjoy your Dragon Rage Channeler. So they're going to be all in on a Murktide, which we can promptly Subtlety. But they might have another Counterspell. They might have Counterspell to help protect their Murktide. Yep, that goes to the bin. Okay, so it looks like they're setting up a Murktide that was not done by accident. Ragavonzil with the value people. Chris Ross says, fun fact for you, Nikachu. Your Merfolk list still doesn't have an out for Ephemerate Shamans. It doesn't. You know what? If you got Ephemerate Shamans, I'm dead. Okay, let's, oops, no. Play Subtlety here. So we'll cast exile a blue card. We'll use Force of Negation. And then maybe we'll, depending on what they do, I might click them. And this deck, because of the threat density with Mutavault and Sveilun for card draw, you can very and also this is considered card advantage too. You very comfortably can just pitch things aggressively. Okay, they put the Regent on the bottom of their library. Fair enough. And I think, what do they have in their hand? Okay, we'll just hit them at the draw step and just take a little sneaky peeky, because if they've got like if they draw Ledger Shredder, that actually is pretty deadly right now. Are you gonna counter this? It's not a very good use of Archmage's Charm, but what? Oh no, you're gonna draw some cards. I thought they were gonna counter it. No, this is a smarter decision. Okay, what's going on here? What's inside your house? A lot of 1-drops in a Murktide Regent. Goodbye! So long, sucker. Actually, maybe we should let them keep it because, like, they bottomed the last Murktide Regent. Or maybe they always had the Murktide Regent. They're like, I don't need a second Murktide Regent. A Chalice again. This actually would be useful on 2, I think. Or maybe I just put on 0. Can they interact with this? I don't think they can. Okay, we'll put this on 0 just to hit the... This list plays so differently from regular Merfolk. Actually, it doesn't. Like, in my opinion, it doesn't at all. I think it plays just like regular Merfolk. Now, just in case they play... Just in case they top deck Counterspell or have Counterspell in hand or Archmage's Charm to counter it, although they probably won't counter. They would probably draw cards. I'm going to play Brineborn and get underneath stuff. Well, here they go again. Still up with their BS. Nikachu, I want to start playing Modern, but it seems really expensive. Are there any strong cheap decks to get started? Yeah, Merfolk can be played on quite a budget. Like, if you ignore Force of Negation, I think you can do pretty well. What is this for 4 mana? Is Murktide 7? I got rid of it! I got rid of it in your hand. What happened? What's going on here? I'm flooding out on Chalice of the Voids. Yeah, I'm going to upkeep, play my Brazen Borrower. Hopefully underneath counter magic. So they have... Hold on, what do they exile? I think they played an Unholy Heat. So they still have 2 Dragon Rage Channelers. I'm just going to upkeep, play my Brazen Borrower. They're not in a really good position to attack. Son of a bitch! They drew the counter spell. So I did on their upkeep so that this Brineborn would get its trigger, but whatever. Hey, did the Chalice on 0 stop evoke? No, it doesn't. A Chalice only looks at the casting cost of a creature, not how much mana was spent on it. Well, well, well. Subtlety number 2. I'm not in a position yet. If I had this Brazen Bar on the battlefield, I could just swing out. They block, they take 6. Sorry, they take 8 because of Fairy Conclave, and then eventually would kill them. But we're not in that position yet. So I shall do nothing with this Chalice of the Void. We should be in a winning position. I mean, I have no idea how we lose this. Or I mean, Ledger Shredder actually could change a lot if they find one. Welcome, Tiago. I have stops at their upkeep. Too many stops. Too many stops. I thought Nikachu was like Rudy from Alpha Investments. A lot of knowledge about the game and cards, but never played the game. No, I play the game big time. I'm a big time player of the game. This click is not bad because I made the GP finals once. Just look me up on MTG Goldfish. My resume is there. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do with this click. I'm probably going to play it on my opponent's turn and target myself. And it's going to sack the click, but it'll grow the Brineborn, and I can get rid of this Chalice of the Void, which is nasty. But I'm going to wait until end of turn, because I might have to subtlety say something. Oh, they're preparing more BS. What's going on here? 2 Murktides are on the bottom. One went down because of subtlety. Oh, I totally forgot about this card. Yes, that resolves. How to format where only uncommon cards illegal be like? I have no idea, but it's called Artisan. I've never played the format. Is Merfolk tier 1 now? Probably not, but it's like a player. They still have 2... They're just filling their graveyard for fun. They could have done this at instant speed. They still have 2 Dragon Rage Channelers in hand, if I understand correctly. Okay, so Brianborn gets bigger. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep one. Keep the new one. And then we'll target ourselves, put Chalice on the bottom because we don't need more Chalices, in my opinion. Oops, we're gonna let it resolve. I got an island, which is not bad. So now we can subtlety a random creature. Ooh, Otawara, perfect. And it costs 1 less because of Murktide Regent. So we will play land, pass. If nothing happens, we boing this thing. And then we will be ready with the subtlety. Shaman list is pretty budget as well. Yep. Ragavan goes Bind. I don't understand. Why aren't you playing the Dragon Rage Chandlers if you don't believe in this stuff? Oh, maybe they're now getting ready. They're getting ready for me to Otawara this Murktide Regent. So remember, it costs 1 less because I have a click on the battlefield. Vendilion Click is a legendary creature, and this ability gets costs 1 less for each legend on the battlefield. All right, what do we want in this matchup? Maybe, well, I'll take out Counterspell. It's a bit awkward. We can bring in some Ratchet Bombs and Spell Stutter Sprite. Also not fond of Force Negation. It's okay. Bringing more. I think Spell Stutter Sprite is nice in this matchup because it can counter something, but it could also block Ragavan at the right moment. I think that's it. So a lot of people will say, well, why don't you bring in Relic? Because I don't really believe in fighting the graveyard when I can fight the permanents, and this deck fights the permanents better than the graveyard. Like, the graveyard's pretty irrelevant. Ledger Shredder and Dragon Rage Chandler can fill the graveyard really easily if they want to. But if I didn't have so many cards that dealt with the permanents, like Dismember and Brazen Borrower and Blast Zone and Ratchet Bomb, I would fight the graveyard. So my priority is permanents on the board, but if you're a deck that doesn't have as many cards to answer permanents on the board, then you start bringing in the graveyard hate. But I have no reason to dilute my deck with this trash when I just can kill things. Why be preventative when you can just blow it up, you know? Why shrink the Dragon Rage Chandler when you can just kill it? So like I said earlier, lands and spells, just keep it. I'm going to put my trust in this hand. It actually does have 1 threat, but has a lot of answers, and that's pretty important in this matchup overall. Good afternoon, Aoben. The Dragon Rage Chandler. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. No value for you. What's it gonna be? Turn 2 Ledger Shredder. Those Kamigawa lands look so sick. Oh yeah, they're beautiful. I got like foil ones around here. The Shredder. What the hell is this? Eon 0. Ah! Aha! They're preparing for the Chalice of the Void already. Uh-oh, Murktide in the graveyard? You know what that means? Murktide in hand. A Murktide in hand is worth 2 in the bush. Said nobody. Alright, anyway, I don't have Chalice, so... Suck it. Not this time. My Ratchet Bomb goes up. Oh, actually, I could blow up the Engineered Explosives if I wanted to. Opponent must be sweating bullets right now. Okay, take 2 damage. Why am I down? Oh yeah, I'm like, why am I down so much life? Oh yeah, the Dismember. My priority isn't this thing though, so we're gonna tick up to kill the Ledger Shredder. Ticking up to kill the Ledger Shredder. Ledger Shredder. Ooh. Ooh. What do we do here? I guess just jam it. If they've got Counterspell, Mystical Dispute, then that means they can't Archmage's Charm and draw some cards. I hate jamming like this, but I have nothing else to do with my turn, so... we might as well get them to act on this card. They might even crack this for nothing and then play Unholy Heat on Svalin, which is still value. That's still a 2-for-1. Nothing. They did nothing. And by the way, if they do nothing for this, I mean, it's going to just dominate. Oh, it looks like they'll crack this and maybe go find an Unholy Heat. I'm coming for you. It's coming for you. Lightning bolts to me? Oh, God. What the hell does that mean? Engineered explosives. Holy crap, you're really coming out for my chalices, aren't you? Our opponent was like, this chalice is not going to stay on the board. So what do they have? 2 more lightning bolts in hand? They've turned into a blue burn deck. Oh, they did have the Unholy Heats. What a tease. I'm still killing you. That plan hasn't changed. Okay, they're gonna draw a card. I got the Brineborn! Which means I gotta pop it off. At the right moment, at the right time. So how do I go about this? I would like to attack for a little bit, please. Not too much. I can't play around Mystical Dispute, so I'm just not going to. Not gonna play around Mystical Dispute, can't do it. So I might as well, I guess, crack this, play Brineborn on my turn to play around Counterspell? Yeah, let's do that. Boop! They have Mystical Dispute, they have Mystical Dispute. Wasn't a big cost to them anyway. Yeah, okay. That's fine, that's fair. It's okay. It's okay. If they have 1 card left and it's Murktide, actually that might suck. Because I can Otawara at once. But we do have we still have we have 2 threats actually, and 1 answer. The worst thing at this moment would be like Ragavan. But you see me in trouble? I'm not sweating. I have no problem with this situation. No problem at all. Not scared. Hashtag no fear. Another Ratchet Bomb. Want to get in for a damage, but at the same... Like, I want to play Fairy Conclave and play Ratchet Bomb on the same turn, but my fear is... Well, what are the odds that they drew Mystical Dispute? They might have Spell Pierce. So we'll play around Spell Pierce right now. If you got Mystical Dispute, I swear that'd be so lucky to draw that 1 damn card. Oh my god, they have it. They're like, are they gonna waste their Mystical Dispute on this? Can you make Murktide work in Merfolk? Absolutely not, because we barely play instants and sorceries. They let it resolve! Get in there, Mutavault. Go, Mutavault. Can't blow this up. Yeah, any 0 mana cards. It's like we sided out the, See, I'm attacking. You can't do that with Hall of Storm Giants. I got him for 4 damage already. The Shredder? Again? It's like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You defeat the Shredder, he comes back over and over again. Unbelievable nonsense. Some characters just don't die. Well, we got a Subtlety, which is nice, except... Well, it's useless right now. Alright, pass. Passing the turn, passing the turn. Ratchet Bomb is doing what it does. Everyone's got the song in their head. Well, now this is awkward. Because I could blow that up. But I don't have a very good answer to this. Sorry, I don't have a good answer to the Ledger Shredder, so I'd actually prefer to preserve the Ratchet Bomb. Preserving Ratchet Bomb. Preserve. Oh yeah, it's a grinding game, absolutely. Oh crap, they can bring the Dragon Rage Chandler back. That feels stupid. Because they can just connive. Or maybe they can't, because they have to. They'll play a spell, then they have to draw and discard the card that they just drew, so... Useless. Guess what's gonna happen, Ledger Shredder? Guess what? I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. How does it feel? Just trying to think. Do we want to go all out? I think we want to go all out. We got a lot of resources here. Resources? Look at them resources. Go to our attack, and then before blockers, pop this thing. Pop Areno. Mutavault, again, getting in for another 2 damage. Trying to make its case against Hall of the Storm Giants now. It's done 6 damage now. And, like, this would actually, if this was Hall of the Storm Giants, this would be the first opportunity it could attack. And honestly, it would deal actually more damage in this case. Not gonna lie, although I wouldn't have this man up. All right, Dragon Rage Chandler, you got it. You got a Dragon Rage Chandler. It's legit. Soraka, welcome. Well, well, well. Petty theft. Now that's something I cannot do with the Hall of the Storm Giants. Flusterstorm. I can pay for that. It's cheap. Cheap real estate. Look at all these triggers. We put in the graveyard. Spell Pierce. Yeah, that's pretty useless here. It does keep them alive, technically. Because now I bounce this, but I can only attack for 5. So I guess it's just not worth it. We'll just attack for 3 and play our Brazen Barber. I think we can upkeep this. If they play Counterspell or something, they won't get a trigger off of the Dragon Rage Chandler. Chris Ross says, I think you got it in the bag. I think you're right. Yeah, we just absolutely annihilated the blue-red Murktide deck. All right, that's game. I'm telling you, player draw, this deck wrecks things. And I am so confident with this deck. Loving the Mutavault. All right, with that, let's move on to round 2. Soraka, Nikachu, what are your thoughts on Liliana in Pioneer and Explorer? I personally think it's too strong for the formats. Even the top 2 decks are now running her. Probably... Actually, I have no idea. I have no take yet. I haven't seen the Pioneer metagame shake up. I imagine it might be too strong for Standard. Wasn't Standard day 1 like just a bunch of black decks? I don't know if the metagame evolved since then, though. All right, we're 1-0. We're 1-0, chat. Oh yeah, this is an awesome list. I'm so hyped for this thing. And honestly, I think a lot of you merked... I mean, it's not budget friendly. It's expensive. The Chalice of the Voids, the Force Negations. I know it's not cheap, but it is strong. It is a very good deck. You know, I'm never... when I play Merfolk, I'm like, oh, I hope they don't top deck this, or I'm like, I hope I top deck this. And you know what? I have faith in my Merfolk deck, and I still win. But this deck, I do not absolutely give a rat's ass what I draw or do not draw. It just all is good, and it all works. If I lose the die roll, I don't care, because between Force Negation and Subtlety, you almost always slow your opponent down. It almost feels like this deck wins by brute force very slowly, if you know what I mean. Almost like what Omnath does with people. I was skeptical about that handful of lands. No, the lands, so long as you have some interactive spells, it's fine. So we won the die roll. Okay, now this, I won't keep a hand too low on lands. That I won't do, so we will mull. It almost looks great because we do have the Subtlety and Force Negation, but I'm not going to keep a 1-land Mutavault hand on the play. We're on the play, so we're going to mulligan. And this hand we can keep. Looks like we'll dump probably the island. Maybe I dump Otawara. Yeah, we'll dump the island. Not a beautiful hand, though. Hopefully they don't have Blood Moon. Blood Moon's out there, by the way. I'm not going below 10 basic islands. I've been Blood Moon so many times, but I haven't lost, because I got my 10 basic islands. I haven't lost a Blood Moon yet. They haven't got me. Casper Soul, Nikachu, I seriously believe you are in the top echelon of competitive MTG players and content creators. You are the culture. Thank you so much. I believe so too. It's hard to balance though. The more you spend time on content, the worse you get at competitive Magic. The more time you spend on competitive Magic, the worse you get on content. This deck again! You gotta be kidding me. Okay, so this is how it is with this deck. You have to slow this crap down. Does it look like I've 2-for-1 myself a million times? Yes. Yes, I have. But we just need to reach the late game, and everything is gonna turn out okay. It's all gonna be all okay, Billy. I am gonna 2-for-1 myself here. That's fine. I think we'll start with... I actually think I want to sandbag the Blast Zone as long as possible, so I'm going to play the Otawara. Because they might go, like, this turn 2 Dragon Rage Channelers, and when we get them big time, chat, they won't see it coming. Just like Mono Black Control and Explorer. Yeah, nice 1-drops. I've definitely become a better player learning from me. Yeah, well, from the tempo side, sure. And by the way, if we don't win game 1 versus Murktide, I don't care. We'll win game 2 and 3. What's it gonna be? Oh, it's gonna be the Shredder. I'm gonna bring out the Brineborn. Nothing to do. Subtlety. Yeah, we might have that available eventually. There are some lists that, some very successful lists are playing Spreading Seas instead of Brineborn Cutthroat. I have nothing against that. It's just, I find, like, Spreading Seas here would suck. I wouldn't want to play Spreading Seas. I mean, you can pitch it to Subtlety and Force Negation, so it's not terrible, but I will say it's, playing as Urza Saga is annoying. I think I have enough game without Spreading Seas in the main versus Urza Saga, but it's a bit of a pain. It's a bit of a pain. It makes my life harder. I need help, Nikachu. To finish Gruul Stompy is $389 US, but to finish my Angels, it's $415, which would be better in Modern. The Stompy. Stompy was actually competitive. We proved it, right? But that Angels thing, definitely not competitive. New challenge, Blast Zoning Murktides. I think the biggest thing I've Blast Zoned was... I might have ticked it up to 6, but I couldn't actually hit an Archon of Cruelty. What do they do actually with the Dragon Rage? They put Dragon Rage Channeler on the bottom, so this Blast Zone is useless. I would 100%, without even thinking about it, choose the Stompy deck. Angel deck is really speculative. Okay, we're gonna get smacked for 2. 2 it is. Smackaroony. Smacky smacky. They might wait to play their Bolt on our turn because they might think we have, for example, Counterspell. So drawing another Otawara is nice. I'm going to my combat step, opponent. What would you like to do? Oh, you gonna let me attack, are you? Oh, I can't pump it on my turn, so. Make you move. Okay, they do nothing. Right, pass. Blast Zone's probably a pain in the ass for them. Have there been any new upgrades to Stompy? I don't know. I haven't worked on it at all because I'm just so fat. I'm trying hard to make this deck. I mean, it works. It already works. I already have a 5-0 with this deck. Just trying to make it work even more, if you know what I mean. Yeah, bolting? You're going to consider? No, you're going to bolt. All right. It's a fine move. So what does that mean? They've got Spell Pierce or something in hand? They didn't want to tap out. That says something. So I'm going to do something similar. Like if they attack and I don't block... Oh, sorry, I won't block. If they attack and do nothing, I'll just Otawara the Ledger Shredder back to their hand at end of turn. Expressive Iteration. I can do nothing about this. Ethan says, I'm trying to make Pauper Angels. Go for it. Can't promise you're going to win. Thoughts on Healed Company in Modern? What does it need to be competitive again? It needs a good pilot. That's what it needs. That deck has everything. You know what sucks for that deck, though? Counter spells, and like Murktide is a big chunk of the metagame, so a lot of counter spells. But I imagine you can like play Veil of Summer. Games 2 and 3 are. You probably have a lot of game. And it's better on paper than online, because online you don't have infinite life. Mikey J says, I'm not familiar with Gruul Stompy. I'm more of a smooth-brained Stompy connoisseur. Where do they look? Whose deck do they look at? Mine or theirs? Probably theirs. And then they're going to decide what they're going to do with their Scalding Tarn. Ah, Ragavan! Ragavan! Bye! I expect them to have no response. Even though we do have the Blast Zone on the battlefield, this is just a way of getting a body here. Get a body going. They put it on the bottom, and it might be because... Actually, I don't know what their reasoning is. You want to attack? They have a... If they attack, that means they got, like, Consider or something in their hand, so they could... Actually, how does this work? How does Connive work? Whenever a player casts their second spell... I thought they just played Expressive Iteration into Lightning Bolt. What, did they connive? Or maybe they connived and put a land in the graveyard? I don't know what happened. They played many spells. Anyway, they passed the turn. They're going to draw a card off of Mishra's Bauble. Go for it. Also, I can take this Blast Zone up to kill the Shredder. That's not a problem. So I could save the Otawara. Another subtlety. Not so subtle. I cannot attack. So I shall passy the turn. They connived a land into the graveyard? Alright, that makes sense. That's that anti-chat advantage. I'm paying attention more to chat than what's going on the board. Should look at their graveyard. MTG Legacy loves Fairy Conclave. Me too. I just looked at the foils of this. It's $50. It's $50, chat. This was like $3 when M. Hayashi first let us know that this thing exists. Now it's $50. Boy, do I feel stupid. $50. If you do nothing, I tick the Blast Zone up. Going on up. Next floor, please. Here's a question. What do? We just blow this thing up, attack? I don't think that is the appropriate move. I actually think we should wait. And then get 2 subtleties in play. You probably could pop the Blast Zone here, but like you know what? Patience, people, just patience. Because this also prevents them from playing more 2-drops, like another Ledger Shredder this turn. Look, they bolted my damn subtlety. How dare you? And I have a really high life total, so I can let them attack, and then we'll pop Blast Zone. And then if they have a Ledger Shredder on their turn, we're going to subtlety that. We got it all, chat. We got it all. I'm a little bit concerned about a Murktide at this point, because they can almost hardcast a Murktide without without using anything in the graveyard. If you're sad about Full Fairy Conclave being $50, I sold my Gilded Drake when it was $12 and my Wheel of Fortune when it was less than 20. That hurts. I never sold. Actually, I can't say I never sold. I sold like Tolarian Academy for a few dollars. I don't know, like $35. Tolarian Academy. Alright, the Ledger Shredder went into the red zone. As it does, as it do. That juicy 2 damage. Irresistible. We're playing Fairy Merfolk Control today. Alright, let's pop this bad boy. Goodbye, Ledger Shredder. So long, sucker. Ledger Shredder's best ability is blocking Ragavan, I think. Other than that, I think it's a pretty crappy card. That is interesting. I guess we pass the turn, and then if they do nothing, we take a little sneaky peek at their hand. The old sneaky peek. Oh, there goes Mikey J. He's got it on, he's got a command. He's got a script. Don't sell your cards unless you need the money or have a plan for that money. Archmage's Charm. Can you give me some cards? No, you're gonna give yourself some cards? Yeah, whatever. It's a bit dangerous because they could easily play like a creature backed up by Counterspell. And when do you sell your cards? You never... Yeah, you sell your cards only when you need other cards. That's how it is. Nikachu, do you know where the expression "so long sucker" comes from? Absolutely not, actually. I think the earliest version I heard it was like Scorpion saying it to Sub-Zero as he was running away, but I have a feeling it was earlier than that. Our opponent is contemplating really hard about this Murktide. We are 100 billion% going to subtlety it, if we get the option. Here we go! You got the Archmage's Charm, you got the Counterspell backup, or do you got Bull? Nikachu, will you ever play Flesh and Blood? No. It's not that it's a bad game, but I don't have time. You know what? I play enough games. I like to be good at the games that I play, and if you want to be good at anything, then you got to spend a lot of time on it. Right now, my games are Magic the Gathering, mostly modern. The F is this? Murktide number 2. So Magic the Gathering, mostly modern, chess, and Fall Guys. I absolutely love Fall Guys right now. They put Murktide on the bottom. Alright, Murktide number 2. The sequel. What are we supposed to do about this, chat? That's a beefy Murktide too. Like, I can deal with it with Vendilion Click, but, like the Otawara and Vendilion Click combo. But I can't just bounce it back to their hand. They're just going to replay it. Well, hello there, sweetheart. Now what? I think the play is get hoofed for 8 and then bounce it at end of turn. Will you ever stream Fall Guys? Maybe one day at the end of one of these streams. It's laggy as hell, but I love it. Because I play it on my Nintendo Switch. I could unlist the stream at the end of one of these, and we play Fall Guys. Because, like, the most you guys aren't going to care. Kyle Driver, thank you so much for becoming part of the Nikachu crew. A.K.A. the Coffee Crew, a.k.a. many other things. Nikachu will stream Mario Kart before he streams Fall Guys. No, I think Fall Guys is a better stream experience. Mario Kart is an awful stream experience. Okay, we'll take 8. I don't mind taking 8. Well, I don't love it, but I'll take it. Hoya! Surprise. Yeah, Kyle Drive, you're always here, so why not? You also, okay, if you are subscribed, Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, and you have access to the Discord, you can see these replays before they get like edited and published. I sort of wanted a land so I can go click and have Counterspell backup, but this might be good enough. I mean, maybe it's better. I'll play Brineborn followed up by Counterspell, and then if it fails, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep. But I think Fall Guys is a pretty good game to stream. But Mario Kart, it just moves too quickly. There's just too much crap going on. I think it's a bad stream experience, and I can't even talk very well. Oh yeah, Mikey J also lets us know what day it is. It's always some sort of holiday. The only thing I don't like about Fall Guys is the constant load times. Whatever. I mean, they need to wait till everybody is available. Well, that sort of sucks, but you know what? This is not the end of the world. Okay, so we know, like, you have to trade with subtleties, for example. Actually, it also has anti-synergy with Murktide. Oh, here comes a big Murktide. Taking a big dump on the metagame. Has Fall Guys changed since it was big on Twitch? Some updates. I might counter this and then play Brian Board afterwards because it plays around Spell Pierce, and that's a pretty common card. And our opponent has like a bunch of cards in hand. So I originally was going to play Brineborn into the counter spell, but to play around Spell Pierce, I think I'm going to do it this way. They might just fire off a Spell Pierce just to like loot with their Dragon Rage Chandler. Or like, you know, whatever. Oh, Spell Snare! Spell Snare! In 2022? Am I screwed? Dragon Rage Chandler will be small, very small. They left a card on top. Well, that sucks. Blocks my subtlety. We're both at a precarious 8 life, though, so I think we're in better shape than them. We can still click on their turn. I mean, you know, when you get to this point of the game... Oh, they fetched away the card that they connived to the top. Do you have another spell snare? Or do you have the counter spell this time? Do you have the counter spell? Do you have the counter spell? They do. Okay. They kept the card on top again. Well, this is getting worse. So what did you keep on top? We're gonna find out. Let's find out. They're at 5 life. We might just be able to rush them. Like, they can't attack us or we kill them. They've got no flyer here. Ooh, this is probably a tough decision for them. Maybe it's Archmage's Charm. Like, do I counter this or do I draw 2 cards? And they probably are in a spot where they need to draw the 2 cards. Because if they counter it, they... maybe they don't die, but they're not in a good spot. All right, they do counter. I was right. Because they could still sit with the Murktide. I attack with 2 Fairy Conclaves. The Surveil. It's a tough spot. Tough decision. They put a card on top. All right, click down. You did your duty. If I draw a land, I'm probably just going to suicide the Subtlety and 2 Fairy Conclaves into our opponent. They'll block Subtlety, take 4, go to 1. And they'll need a Lightning Bolt in order to kill us. Actually, they need more than a Lightning Bolt. They are really far from Delirium. Okay, we got the land. This is a good spot to just go... Just go all in. I'm gonna go all in, people. And then oh, shoot. If they have a removal spell, is that a problem? Well, if they have a removal spell, they still can't attack. Oh, no. Actually, no, it's not a problem because we still have Mutavault. Yeah, that works. Charge! Charge! The worst thing that we could possibly see off the top of our opponent's deck is Expressive Iteration. That would make me sick to my stomach. They have no cards in hand, but they placed 1 back on top of their deck with, whatever, the thing. With Dragon Rage Chandler. Make no mistake, that Dragon Rage Chandler is deadly. Deadly stuff. All right, they're down to 1. No fetch lands offline. Actually, I can't attack with Mutavault. Any removal is actually pretty good because then they could block and then... Oh, maybe this is not going to work so well. But they probably still can't attack. They're not in a good position to attack. Oh, another Murktide wins? Yeah, too. Yeah, anything that exiles the graveyard. But it would shrink this. You can only raise it by 3. It is another Murktide. All right, so maybe... Ah, this game got more complicated. It's complicate. It's very complicated. Oh, no, we're just dead. Yeah, that's right. You only needed to buff it by 3. All right, nice line. Sort of. That's an annoying way to lose. Don't see the line where you attack with your Dragon Rage, Chandler. Don't see it. They didn't attack! They didn't attack. They forgot about the Dragon Rage. I swear, they forgot about Dragon Rage Channel. They're like, I only have a Murktide. That's all we need. They didn't attack. All right, now what do we do? I think we play Chalice on 1. And then, if there's any attack by Murktide, they might lose? They still can't attack very well. They're in a bad position to attack. So we get the Chally on the 1. If they attack with either Murktide, we counterattack for the win. Well, I don't think they gave us the win, but... because we can't attack. But if we get, like... I don't know what we need. Maybe... I don't know, it's tough. I need, like, consecutive creatures. They're in no position to attack. We're in no position to attack. It's a standstill. It's a standoff. This is, yeah, this is still game 1. This is a riveting game 1. This is a long game 1. They're down at 10 minutes. If we win this, they're going to lose on time. What? Oh, they got... What do they have? Ledger Shredder? Maybe they drew Ledger Shredder. I'm just going to block 1. You have no burn spell that will kill me. That's not going to do it either. Unless you can, like, pump up your Dragon Rage Channeler by a ton. I just need to block the 7 drop, take 7, go to 1, and then get in there with another Fairy Conclave and Mutavault. Oh, they're thinking better of it. They got really ambitious for a second. Now they're getting less ambitious. This has got to be, like, another Murktide or Ledger Shredder. Anyway, we're forced. We have no choice here. We're going to activate a Fairy Conclave. We're going to block. Big bad Murktide. We're going to take 6. And I'm going to hope they don't have a creature, but it looks like they got a creature. Looks like they drew the Shredder. Or another Murktide. Nothing else is good. Or maybe they have Ragavan in hand. They forgot about this. What is this? Oh, they do have another Murktide. They've got that one land over here. Good enough to block. What a bizarre game. Murktide Tribal. All right, what do I want? I don't even know at this point. That's not gonna do it. Yeah, I need a few more creatures earlier. This actually would have been great if I drew this instead of the Chalice of the Void. That would have been fantastic. Actually, no, it would, yeah, it would have, actually, because I could still block with a Conclave. I'm going to make them have it. You know, honestly, this game shouldn't even get this far. They had lethal on the board and they just didn't attack. They should have drawn a Bebop or Rocksteady. What a tease. Like, we're in a... Their deck is full of 1-drops. We drew this Chalice on 1. And we're in this great board stall. Like, they don't have many good cards to draw. Actually, that's not true. They have Archmage's Charm, Expressive Iteration, Murktide, and Shredder. So they had stuff, but... Still, I wanted this game to pass back and forth a little bit longer than that. What are you afraid of? You're afraid of stuff, aren't you? Okay, you're not afraid of stuff anymore. I'm just gonna let it go to damage. Soak up some time. Yeah, they top deck 3 Murktides in a row. This Dragon Rage Chandler was useless. Okay, what did we do last time? This. I think I got rid of Counterspell. And I got rid of 2 Force Negations. Maybe Nibble Obstructionist is better than Force Negation. I don't know. It's okay to have one of these. Or a few of them. Just to protect your Svelune when you tap out with it. Fairy Conclave, what the damn hell? If you delete older Merfolk content... Oh, did you delete the old... No, it's actually just unlisted. So if you could find the link somewhere else randomly on the internet, like, it still exists. It's still there, though. I've got like 6 years worth of Merfolk content on my main channel. Got about 2 years worth of Merfolk content on the live channel. But now it's just all gonna die on the gameplay channel. This hand is acceptable. I'm not in love with it, but prefer a more hardcore hand. But we're going to curve out. We still have high threat density. Can answer the 1-drops, the 2-drops, the 3-drops. But our opponent is definitely going to have to pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. Insert something Teferi would probably say. Okay, so they don't have Dragon Rage Chandler, otherwise they'd play that first before the Bauble. Oh, Nikachu, I forgot to tell you. Still waiting on my stuff to get shipped back to Austria from Germany, including my car. Your car is there, but when it gets here, I am sending you another blue deck for paper to play with. Blue deck for paper to play with? What the hell does that mean? You're gonna make me play like in-person paywall deck list or something? Alright, they did nothing, which is okay. We'll play a Mutavault and just pass. Wouldn't Teferi say slow down? Slow. Well, he says both of them. He like says things about like speeding things up, slowing things down. Let's slow things down. Pick up the pace. I wonder what it's like for Teferi. He already knows what the future is going to be. Knows what the past is going to be. Does he know how he dies? Does Teferi know how he dies? No, I'm simply giving you another option for your local game store matches, Opinions for the new manifest keyword. I am new and exploring the game. I have no idea what the manifest keyword is. Is it something from Commander or the new Infinity thing? Karn kills him? What does this mean? Dragon Rage Channeler. Turn 2. So you drew it? I feel something suspicious, but I can't do anything about it. You got a Spell Pierce, you got a Spell Pierce. They might have Mystical Dispute. These decks are hardcore running Spell Pierce these days. Hardcore. Oh, baby! That's what I'm talking about. We can counter things that cost 2 mana. They might just go for an Expressive Iteration next turn, hoping to find a land, and we're going to get them hard with this Spellstarter Sprite. Or are we? Oh, no. No, we played the Mutavault turn 2, which is important, because that sets up things like Spellstarter Sprite. Manifest is your turn. Any card in a morph 2/2, and you can turn it over for mana. Oh, I totally forgot about that thing. I'm getting a lot of comments in the comments section. You're like a professional content creator. You don't know the abilities on cards. I'm like, there are so many abilities. I really don't care. Look at this. I'm passing it back. Okay, let's get some fairies in play. Particularly Click. I think you, especially if you have counter spells in hand, you want to go for the end of turn Click, especially if they're not in a position to get like a even if they got Murktide in play that turn, which would be a pretty garbage Murktide, we could petty theft it back to hand pretty effortlessly. Okay, we'll target them. What's going on, Jose? Huh? What do you got going on over there, Jose? What are you hiding from me? Lightning Bolt, that's totally fine. There's only 155 different keyword abilities. Only. Archmage's Charm, Murktide, Regent, Consider. So, Murktide getting online big time. Archmage's Charm, not so online yet, but annoying. I guess we get rid of Murktide. I have sort of an answer in my hand, but it's only sort of an answer. Or do I let this resolve? They won't have any counterspell backup. But then if I bounce it to hand with Brazen Bar, I have to deal with it again. They can get how many cards? They can get 4 cards in the graveyard with Consider. Okay, I'll get rid of Murktide. Sort of wish I could let them keep that thing. Oh, baby! I regret! I have regrets. I have regrets. Worst keyword mechanic, Hellbent? I think that's easy to know. Hellbent, I got no cards left in hand. Give me some ability. My opponent is thinking. They're considering things. Nasty things. Actually, you know what? This is pretty stupid. I should probably counter one of them. Because I can't counter, like, anything else. So I might as well... Like, I honestly think that you get it while the getting is good. And the getting seems pretty good right now. What do? They put it on the bottom? Okay, so let's Spellstutter Sprite this thing. Because it's actually possible that you'll never get to use Spellstutter Sprite. It's very possible. Like, you'll just never get to use it. I'm not in a position where I can play counter Archmage's Charm either. So I am actually a firm believer you just fire it off. At least exchange with 1 card. So this is probably going to eat a Lightning Bolt or something. Did you literally find a Murktide? You found a Murktide, didn't you? You sick person. Okay, so... What do we know about their hand? We know they have an Archmage's Charm and 2 random cards. I don't really want to burn my subtlety here. I think I'd rather try to petty theft this thing. I'm going to try to petty theft at end of turn. And really hope that that works out. That's a huge upside move. But there's a lot of cards that they could have here that interact with it. And it actually is just well within... It's well worth it to try. I just hope they don't have it. Like Spell Snare, Spell Pierce, Mystical Dispute, they all hit this. Unfortunately. Yeah, okay. They would have hit our subtlety too anyway. So we need another answer. That is not really a good answer, to be honest. Okay, so we play our Blast Zone and... pass. It's not over, but it's not great. I threw you on the bottom. How did you come back so quickly? 4 minutes left on the clock. Unfortunately, they got like a 3-turn kill here, though. 2 turns if they find Lightning Bolt. And they still have Archmage's Charm left in hand. Can I get this thing to 7? I can put 2 counters on it. Okay, I'm gonna take 6. Preserve my poor Spell Stutter Sprite. I wonder if they sided out like their Ragavans to play around Blast Zone and Chalice. It's possible. Okay, so you still have Archmage's Charm. Okay, I actually have to fire this off because I have no choice. And if they burn a charm on it, then so be it. It's a counterspell. Okay. I'm probably going to hoof them for 7, and then we're going to start being on chump blocking duty for this stupid Murktide. Nikachu, did you watch the LSV ran Merfolk? I have not seen it yet. No, they kill my subtlety. That's awkward. Okay, so if it's possible, we can exchange the Spell Starter Sprite with this Murktide. Oh, but we might not. They've got the stupid Archmage's Charm. Okay, so we have to hope. If they don't do something... Sorry, if they tap out, we're going to dismember and block. But if they don't tap out, then I guess we have to just chump block because I need another turn with this. Worst keyword was banding? Well, most people don't understand it. Yeah, they got 2 minutes left, but it might as well be an eternity. What do I have to deal with this? I have a lot of things, right? Damn, I countered that stupid Consider. I could have had the 4 mana up for Subtlety. They counter the Subtlety, and then I bounce the stupid thing with Brazen Borrower. Oh god, they have even more? Shocked yourself. Okay, at least we can block and then still make actions post-combat. They're choosing to do nothing! And then if I dismember and they counter with Archmage's Charm, I'm still screwed. What do I need here? I'm dead. I'm just really dead. Oh, Otawara is good. I've got Otawara. I still have... Well, I don't have Petty Theft. I could dismember, hoping that Petty Theft is an out. And it's not even a very good out. Because they'll just replay this stupid thing next turn. I'm impressed how you have almost T minutes more than... Well, our opponent is probably double queuing. That's how that works. They're protecting their game with Archmage's Charm. They might even have another counterspell. I have to get rid of this Archmage's Charm out of their hand. But if I dismember and I brick, I guess I'm just going to take my turn. Another Spell Stutter Sprite. Go Mutavault. More lands. More lands to fear. Not much has changed. I gotta try to block this thing. Son of a bitch. Alright, so they still have this Archmage's Charm. Okay, I gets hoofed for 6. Okay, it's like... it's actually Ottawa or bust, because they still have this Archmage's Charm. Wrong time. This would have been great like a turn ago, or actually 2 turns ago, when I could try to block this thing, dismember, and then back it up with Force Negation. That would have been great. Now this is completely useless. I hate it when I lose matches like this. So our opponent has 36 seconds left on the clock. And if we had any game at all, they would just easily have timed out. But you know what? It's a clean 2... I think it's a clean 2-0 for them? They won the last one, right? Yeah, with a billion Murktides. Well, whatever. I'll activate Mutavault Pass and see what happens. Hang in there another minute! It's a minute too much. Come on, opponent, don't time out. Just go! Okay, I think actually they're, maybe they're lagging more than anything. I think I'm going to give it to them, though, because they do have the victory here. I would rarely do this, but I think they're playing as quickly as they can. And they're just having trouble just getting in. I lost game 1. I'm effectively lost game 2. I don't have a win. They're going to attack, so I'm actually just going to give it to them, so that's fine. If it was under different circumstances, like my opponent was obviously double queuing or something, I think usually when they double queue, they start speeding up big time when they have like less than 3 minutes left on their clock, and I will just soak them. Like, I'm not going to give you this match. You basically wasted my time at this point. But I think our opponent deserves the win. They won game 1 fairly, and they definitely won game 2 fairly. But I think these matches were pretty close. I end up facing like 3 Murktides in game 1, and this match was... I feel bad about the Spellstarter sprite play, but we clicked a Murktide out of their hand. It's very funny. We have a lot of game against Murktide. I got rid of the Murktide, but the Murktide keeps coming back, and then I didn't have sufficient ways of dealing with it. And this annoying, clunky counterspell was more than enough to close out the game. All right, with that, let's move on to round 3. But like, hey, a lot of game against blue-red Murktide. Ruben, you're the bigger man. Nikachu, I would be livid to get that win. Hey, whoa. I am all for taking wins on time in completely dead lost positions versus combo decks, so don't be giving me too much praise. But in this case, I think our opponent was just under a lot of like lag pressure, and they very clearly had the win on the board, and I think they were probably playing as quickly as they possibly could, so I gave it to them. If you ever want to spam their clock in the future, just activate Mutavault a bunch of times. That might get me banned. That might be gaming the system a little too much. A little bit too much even for my taste. Now, there is something to be said, like, if I was a few turns away from dying, I would just take the win. Because, you know what, it's their responsibility to win in a reasonable amount of time. The clock is there for a reason. It just so happened I was dead on that turn, and I think they deserve it. So if it was like 2 more turns earlier, and I don't know what I'm about to draw, I would take the win. But in that case, I was just dead that turn. I was dead that turn, I was down the game. So I gave it to them. I'm 50-50 on clocking combos if they're easily executed on paper. I'm 100% on clocking combos. I don't give a crap. They want to play this they want to be a scum combo player? Then enjoy your deck. Play it out. Combo off. Go for it. The cost of playing that deck online, you got to click through it. And there's a lot of people who do not play those combo decks for that reason, because people like me make them play it out. And all of a sudden, it's not like a quick five-minute jam combo deck. Now it turns into like a 45-minute combo deck, where you spend a lot of time. You're not even winning always. I've beaten Infinite Life online so many times. It's not Infinite Life online. It is very limited life. It is more like 200 life. And sometimes with Merfolk, you can bring that. You can start swinging for 50 damage a turn. Spamming the clock, I think, is against the terms of service. I don't think you're allowed to abuse the client like that. Ah, we won the die roll versus a champion. Our hand is pretty solid so long as our opponent doesn't play anything on turn 1. And the greatest combo is Sveilun and Force of Negation in the same hand. Great combo. You just throw that Sveilun out there. You gotta be kidding me. I guess we're up against Burn? Wait, oh, that's not bad. I'll take that. I like that. Although it can't block. Actually, it can block Swift Spear a little bit. It has a chance. Eidolon. Eidolon. What do I want to do against Eidolon? I guess we just counter this. It's interesting, actually, if they attack with Swift Spear, I could play Brineborn block, and then if they play a spell to pump it up, I could play Force Negation, counter it, and pump up my Brineborn. Alright, take 1 damage at a time. Okay, this is interesting, and I think I'm going to go for the Sveiluni, because we have the Force Negation backup, so this thing can get as big as, like, a 3-4. Maybe this doesn't work nearly as well as I'd like it to. Maybe I'll just take a shot from the Swift Spear. Because they don't have... Like, it's not indestructible or anything. Because if I block, they can just bolt Sveilun. I force, they bolt it again. That's 3... That's a lot of damage, though, that's prevented. Do you know what? I'm just not going to block. And I have a feeling if they have double bolt, they're going to go for it anyway. No, they don't go for it, chat. They go for anything. Eidolon number 2. I can do nothing about this. Rift Bolt has been revealed. Well, looks like I'm going to take some damage. I'm going to take a lot of damage. Too bad I didn't block. Maybe it's just worth the 2-for-1. Eidolon. Eidolon's usually not that big of a problem because I've got a lot of creature lands in this deck. But blocking this thing is now going to be very painfully difficult. Block. If they do what you fear, that means you gain 9 life. No, not necessarily. Although this was the worst outcome. Nikachu, do you get married? Ah, something like that. Now I'm just trying to think, do I just sit back and do nothing? And let them cast... The problem is I can't really do anything about the burn spells. They just shoot burn spells at my face. So 3... Let's say all cards in their hand is worth 3 damage. I'm going to get hit for 12. for sure. At least 12. They get hit for 8. One way of like, there is a way of racing this. Like, I could attack with Sveilu and put the pressure on them. Okay, maybe that is what we do. Although this is very, very awkward. What do I think about the chess cheating scandal? I don't think the guy is cheating in the tournaments right now, but maybe he cheated to get there. But we don't know. But definitely he's not, I don't think he's cheating in the top level events right now. It's so tempting to attack. If I draw a Mutavault, that would change everything. That'd be so helpful. Where would this go? Attack! Alright, I'm just doing it. Oh, Chalice on... We got a Chalice, people. What do we do with this Chalice? Chalice on 2? So you Flame Rift me. This Chalice sort of screws me. I got a lot of 2-drops in my hand. We got to get rid of these 2-drops. And then play a Chalice. Chalice on 2 is more powerful than Chalice on 1. We can't attack now, in my opinion. Just sit back. No, we definitely can attack. Okay, I guess we pass. We're going to let them take some damage. We're going to get our Brineborn Cutthroat and our Counterspell out of our hand. It will save us a very insignificant amount of damage. The Counterspell will just be to, like, protect our Brineborn. Where's this going to go? Our face? It does. Think you have to play it on 1? I don't think so, necessarily. Well, this is unfortunate. Oh, they're really short on something. Hit like a bunch of Eidolons in hand. You're gonna play another Eidolon? Alright, skewer the critics. Going to me. I take 3. I have to keep my life total a little bit up enough. If I take 6 damage, I go to 8. Take 3 from like Swift Spear. Remember, every spell they play damages them too. So eventually the Eidolon can start working for us. Especially if we can attack with this Brineborn for a ton of damage. Okay, this is a very weird line. But I'm going to put this in play, then I'm going to counter the Skewer. We still have Force and Negation up if we need to. I saved 1 damage! Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So you're going to take another 2. Where is it going? Our face? Do I need to play Force Negation here? Maybe I take the 3, block Swift Spear, play Chalice. Or I just keep Brineborn on the battlefield. I just need to make sure Brineborn's here to block Eidolon or the Swift Spear in the future. Or I can just hit the Swift Spear now. So I take 3, go to 6. Chump Swift Spear. Play Chalice on 4. You have to take Force Negation to block Eidolon dead without trading? I don't know what you mean. You have to take Force Negation to block... I don't know what that means. So I might have to prevent some damage against Swift Spear here. Because if I take 3, go to 7, take 4, go to 3... Well, 1 is not 0. No, but then Force Negation is useless. Brineborn has 2 toughness now if you force it as 3. No, but I don't mind trading with the Eidolon, is what I'm saying. I think I have to chump Swift Spear here. Like, let's say I force and they attack with both. What, I'm going to block Eidolon and take... Well, maybe I could block Eidolon. So I take 2, go to 8. They attack with Swift Spear. You know what? That's actually not bad. I can chump the Swift Spear. Or maybe I just let Swift Spear go through. Maybe that's not too bad. I go to 4. I can take at least 1 more shot from this stupid Eidolon. And actually, they have to rattle off quite a few spells from Swift Spear. So I'll take 4, go to 4. I can still attack with my thingamabob. You are not very convenient right now. I could play Chalice and didn't do nothing. Alright, I could attack for 7. Attack for 7, you go low. But it's not low enough to lose. See, let's say I go Chalice on to pass. They don't have any 1-drops. They don't have 1-drops. They have a bunch of 2-drops. Or, I mean, they could have a bunch of 3-drops. I don't know. Let's see, attack. The thing is, if I play Chalice and they've got, like, 1 bolt, they could bolt this, I guess. Attack, I take only damage from 1. Bolt me. Doesn't do anything. I guess I could just play Chalice on 2 and pass. And then we figure it out next turn. Especially if I draw a creature to block. Which might be good. But I need... Well, Chalice on 2 is definitely better. I don't want to go to 2. So I attack with Sveloon. I should have done this attack earlier. They can actually hard cast Skewer the Critics, so let's pass. I'm gonna pass. If they crack the Canopy land, they got another land in hand, I think. Well, they at least have another land. The question is, of the non-lands that they have, what are they? And I think they're 2-drops. I think they try to empty their hand while they could. Sveloon is like... Sorry, Subtlety is the best card we could draw. This is not the most pleasant card. So, okay, we'll attack with our Sveloon. Click is not beautiful. Although if they block with Eidolon, that will be sweet. Okay, pass. So any burn spell might win at this point, but I have to put pressure on them. Maybe I should have attacked for 3. If I attack for 3 there, I probably had to attack for 3 last turn. And then they would be in a poor spot. And then the moment that they drop Eidolon, we're probably in good shape. They still do nothing, alright. This is better. And all we need is like 1 Mutavault. 1 Mutavault. Subtlety is good. That is not good. That is not good, I'm telling you. Just kind of need luck. I don't think I need luck. I think skill is good enough. Alright, I think that's enough. Now we've got Click and the Brineborn. And we have Counterspell up, so I think this is in the bag. Oh, Counterspell is not up, by the way. Okay, so Draw Step to hit, like, Skewer the Critics or something. We buff up our Brineborn Cutthroat now. I'm not hoping they brick lands. They have more 2-drops in their deck than anything else. Chalice on 2 is the right play. Chalice of the Void is very good versus Burn, but you have to play it on 2. You see? You see? Did I tell you? Anyway, we also did this at upkeep so that we can hit things like Lava Spike. Because you're sorcery, so we hit things like Lava Spike, the Rift Bolt, Skewer Critics. Goodbye, Lava Spike. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. What do they have in hand? Did they have a mountain? They did. Damn it. Oh, Blast Zone at the wrong time. You know, I wasn't even thinking about this card. This card, I shouldn't even have showed that. I think we just pop it. This is 8. Yeah, this is lethal. Okay, so this is good to pop. And they concede. Don't you wish you could miss Chalice Trigger on Magic the Gathering Online? No, I don't. How about that gameplay? That was surgical. That was a really tough... That was really, really tough. But I think I navigated that well. I think the only thing I could have done better is I attacked with Svaeloon 1 turn earlier. Because I don't think the situation changed even when I decided to attack. I had to attack earlier and assume that they had 2 drops in hand. Yeah, but outside of that, that was... I'm gonna toot my own horn here, but that was well played by me. I played really great. That was a tough spot navigating the Eidolon. And I think the thing that needs to be understood is that when your opponent has an Eidolon in play and you can't deal with it, getting your opponent's life total low enough threatens them to die to their own Eidolon. And also, Chalice on 2 is more powerful than Chalice on 1. So, like, even in this game, I'm going to try to position a Chalice on 2 more than I try to position Chalice on 1. Because Chalice on 2 is... It's way more... It hits, you know, Lightning Helix is a big swing in life. Searing Blaze is a bigger deal. Also, Smash to Smithereens, which deals with artifacts, is the only way... Sorry, it's not the only way of beating an artifact, but that's one of their main ways of beating an artifact. I think their Eidolon block was a mistake. But the problem is if their life total gets too low, they're in a position where they're going to die to their own Eidolon. And they didn't want to be in that spot. But they probably could have waited one more turn. They probably could wait one more turn. Probably. So what do I want to put in? I want to bring in the Spell Starter Sprite. Spring Seize on the draw is not good. Nimble Obstructionist is pretty poor. Counter spells up the wazoo are good. I think this deck is very well positioned versus Burn. Except I think Eidolon is the worst card, the hardest card to beat. Well, this doesn't have a lot of lands. On the other hand, our opponent mulligan. I think we have to mulligan too. You have any idea how many times I've kept these hands? A million times. We're keeping this one. I'll tell you why. Because we can play basically a game without any blue cards. We can go turn 2 Chalice. We can even wait. And then we can also blast on anything that got through on turn 1 like that. And we'll probably force and negate anything with Vendilion Click if we get the option. I've kept a lot of mono land cards. Spellstarter Sprite. And that only needs 1 land to get online, so... Please don't play, like, more 1-drops here. I mean, I can sort of deal with them, but it's not pleasant. Chalice of the Void. Alright, so we'll play definitely Chalice on 1, then Chalice on 2 if we get the opportunity. Which also means they're probably just going to unload their hand now. On our turn, it looks like. Sure. But we are going to work mostly to get Chalice on 2. We can still lose, for sure. Can we draw some, like, actual lands here? There we go, another Blast Zone. I'm a Tron deck now. Or, I don't know, some colorless deck. Okay, we're going to counter anything. Anything that I can counter, just countering it. I may not be allowed to counter something later. No! Stop burning my face. More Mutavaults. Okay, I'm gonna try to block this Goblin Guide. I'm gonna try very hard. I can try to block with 1 Mutavault, and if they burn it down, I'll bring out the other Mutavaults. Oh, they did nothing. Nothing at all. Oh, don't smash me. Okay, take 4, go to 3. Another Chalice. Alright. Don't draw 3 drops, please. And we might even get, like, the Chalice on 3. Okay, we got Mutable. We're gonna take one more hit from this Goblin Guide. We are not positioned to win this game, by the way. We are definitely not positioned to win the game. Force a negation on top of our deck. That's not bad. Can deal with, like, Skewer and stuff. What do I do? Just pass? I guess so. So this is good. I can hit Rift Bolt and Skewer. None of those are instant. But I think as it is, I will pop the Blast Zone and start attacking for 2 each turn. Let them attack? Oh, I guess that's possible. Yeah, we're gonna definitely let them attack. You like it when I keep these monocolor hands? It's hilarious. But I don't get punished enough, so I don't care. Oh, alright. Our defense is down! Defense down. Okay, so we're gonna pop this Blast Zone. And then we're gonna attack for 4. The clock is on. The clock! And if we get one more, if we can get Chalice on 3, it's game over. Land into land is just GG. Because they can't beat Chalice 1, 2, and 3. Alright, here we go. I fear nothing here, so... I fear nothing but Rift Bolts and Skewer the Critics. Land? Not a land. Also quite useless. And now if we draw a land, it's not even going to be fun, because we just attack with Mutavaults for the win. No! Are they joking? No. So close. So close. Yeah, they had 1 turn to draw 3. And they got it. We had the Chalice in hand! Chalice for 3! We had it. Actually, what am I doing? I should probably have Ratchet Bomb in this deck. Why did I not bring in Ratchet Bomb? Ratchet Bomb, that's got it going on. I think that's more important than Brazen Borrower. That was a mistake. Everything else I like. Or maybe... I don't know how good... I don't know how important Brineborn is in this matchup, but whatever, we'll keep it. Oh, would I bring in Seize on the play? Very good question. It's not bad at all. I think I just have too much interaction. I'm just gonna let it go. It's not bad, though. I don't think it's too bad. I should probably think much deeper about what my play-draw sideboarding plan is in this matchup. So close. Mulligan. This is a reasonable hand. We'll keep this. I think I'm going to dump the counter spell. I'm probably going to tap out quite a bit with this hand. And pass. Alright, Goblin Guide. Find me some lands this time. Unlike last time. Found me absolute rubbish. Vendilion Click. It's garbage. Actually, probably Click was the card to side out. Ah, finally. Value. The Eidolon. Now I have a choice. I have a bit of a choice here. I could play Blast Zone, Svelun, take 2. Probably try to block Eidolon if I can. That's actually not too bad. Well, if I'm going to play Blast Zone, I might as well... No, I'll play the Blast Zone. And then depending what they do, I might just tick the Ratchet Bomb up. Yeah, I'm going to play Svi as a roadblocker. And if I can 2-for-1 here and they take 4 damage, I think that's fine too. Or I guess they take 2 damage. Because I can also tick this up to 2, and it's not too bad. Click is actually not too terrible, because again, you can hit, like, burn spells at their upkeep. So you can hit their Rift Bolts and stuff. Ah, they're going in. I have a Chalice of the Void coming up. Alright, so playing this out on 2 is good. Well, no matter... I have to block, so we'll block Eidolon. We'll pop the Ratchet Bomb. Maybe they'll play Boros Charm and give their creatures indestructible. Okay, and then I assume there's going to be a Searing Blaze on this creature. Oh, just Lightning Bolt. That's not bad. They couldn't even play their Skewer the Critics or any of their other crap. Well, if they have Boros Charm, I don't mind. Like, whatever. The Eidolon still dies. That saves me basically... I take 2 life instead of 4. So, if you've got 2 drops of hand, so let's say you have Boros Charm. The only annoying thing about playing Chalice on 2 is it's going to lock out my Spell Stutter Sprite. You don't have Searing Blaze. Do you have just a bunch of bolts in hand? I mean, this is just the best move. And I can deal with 1-drops with Blast Zone. Oh crap, they just let it resolve. That's scary. Alright, so they have no 2-drops in hand. Maybe just a bunch of other stuff. Maybe I have a bunch of 1-drops. Okay, here they come. Let's max the damage out. Searing Blaze what? Oh, they just play it? Oh, so they just top deck that. That's unlucky. So they get 4 damage and I go to 10. Oh, we're in great shape here. We're going to draw a card probably, hopefully. We draw nothing. We get a Brineborn Cutthroat, which is eaten off by our own Chalice. But whatever, that's okay. Because I think we eat off more cards of theirs. Then we'll Blast Zone the board, then click afterwards. Lava Spike, sure. And here come the 1-drops. Maybe they set it out their 2-drops. We got an Otawara, which is okay. Do you have another 1-drop? Force Negation is nice. Okay, we'll wait out their draw step to click. Take away a Sorcery Speed card. Actually, it's not too bad to click ourselves. But you know what? Maybe it is. We can like pitch a card from Force Negation. Searing Blaze Eidolon, you may keep all of those. They're all yours. Ah, they were thinking about drawing that or not. Do I bolt it? Do I force? What can I force later? I can force almost anything, so... I'll just take it, go to 4. I'm not sure exactly what's the more dangerous card to deal with, but... Alright, we got a, what is it, 5-turn clock? Pretty garbage clock, if you ask me. Now I want a Svelune. Give me a Svelune now. I guess I'll just keep both Ottawaras in hand. Can't force Goblin Guy, but we do have Blast Zone for it. Oh, crap! I did not see this coming. Alright, so we lose. I guess I had to force that, It's 4 damage, exactly. I was not planning around this. Damn, we have 3 more turns. Ah, there's our Svelune. I think I played this still overall very well. If I knew this card was being played in Burn, or even this... Maybe I should have just popped this Force Negation off to play around it, because I didn't have many things to play around at this point. I had the 1-drops locked out with, like, Ottawa and Blast Zone. The only thing I could basically lose to was an Exquisite Firecraft. That's it. What was my next few cards? Because if I play this... it's okay. So that was a very close game. The game 2 was very close, and game 3, maybe I punted, and I should just force the very first thing I could force. Play was here, Ottawa, your click, and replay at their draw step. That's a great idea, Zeagle. That's a great idea. I should have done that twice, actually. Zeagle, that's a great line. And that would probably keep us alive. I could do this twice, too. Because it only costs 3. Especially at this point, I can Ottawa my click, then recast, because it costs 1 less for each legendary you have on the battlefield, and click is legendary, so for 3, then replay click. I didn't even think about that. That's a great line. Yeah, it's snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Damn it, these are really close losses, but losses nonetheless. All right, let's move on to round 3. Not a good start to this league. You could argue, though, I screwed myself in game 2 with my own Mutavaults, but it was still a very close game. But then again, it probably in theory, Brazen Borrower is still better than Vendilion Click, because I could play Chalice on 1 by turn 2 and then bounce like a Goblin Guide or Swift Spear back to my opponent's hand. Is Master of Waves even played in Modern anymore? No. Not at all. You know, one argument for not countering the Bolt is that if I draw another Chalice... Oh, you know, this doesn't work. If I drew another Chalice, I could play Chalice on 1, and then all I have to do is deal with the 3 drops. But that actually doesn't work, because I had a Chalice on 2, and it would counter my Chalice on 1. This hand is fine. We lost the die roll. The hand is quite... it depends on the matchup. This hand could be really bad if our opponent has no permanence, but if our opponent has permanence, this hand is great. My opponent says, hey, good luck, have fun. Still fishing? Yes. But there's also a lot of fairies. Ad nauseum. Ad nauseum. I don't know a single deck playing City of Brass that isn't ad nauseum. Which in that case, this hand is very bad. But we have a lot of counterspells going into games 2 and 3. You given Vesuva Diplomacy a go? No. It's an awesome and if expensive synergy. No, definitely not. Could be Dredge. Oh, could be Dredge too. That's true. Could be Dredge. Which is getting more popular. I am playing against Dredge like once every 6 times. Cathartic Reunion, and I have no response. There is a Dark Blast and a Narcomoeba. This is a very bad Dredge. Oh, it's turned really good though. Alright, we're screwed. What do we have in the sideboard? Do we have any relics? I think this version has 2 relics. I really hate Graveyard Hate. I think Graveyard Hate is really bad in my sideboard, except for exactly this deck. Oh, welcome to the party! Our store leader is your huge fan. Great. So everything is really late here. But whatever. I would say this is... Without enough graveyard hate, I think this is a bad matchup because Narcomoeba blocks a lot of my stuff, and I can't interact with the graveyard at all, given my deck. I mean, but you can shore up the matchup just by playing a ton of graveyard hate. My hand is really awkward. I sort of want to keep the subtlety because I think it's more important. Oh, sweet. Can actually, oh, but now I have to really pitch the subtlety. It'll be back. Mistcaller for sideboard for this matchup? No. Mistcaller is just too easy to kill with Dark Blast. No, you just need hardcore artifacts that just exile everything. This is useless. Or do you not? Oh, if it's popular enough, I'm willing to sideboard for it, but it's not. Honestly, actually, okay, this deck is performing very poorly overall, but it's actually getting played a lot, and I think Sodek is really pushing this deck. And maybe if he pushes it enough, a lot of people will adopt it and it'll get popular again. And all it takes is like one dredge to make top 8, and then everyone's gonna play it, and then I'll definitely fill my sideboard with graveyard hate. But outside of that, I don't actually need graveyard hate for any matchup except this one. And now I don't have the Force Negation in hand. And now I'm doomed. Now this Brazen Bar is useless in the face of these Narcomoebas. I don't even know what I'm gonna... we can just resign. This is stupid. No chance. I do think I'm... Given my sideboard right now, I think I'm pretty weak to dredge. Okay, so what do I want here? I want, definitely Relic. This is very disappointing. Click is pretty crap. Spheloon's okay. Brazen Bar is bad. Everything's bad here. Maybe the Nimble Obstructionist is okay. Only because I can counter the stupid Ox of Igonus ETB trigger. Spellstutter Sprite might be okay in like the later part of the game. Maybe it's more important than Brazen Borrower. Because I can counter like a Cathartic Reunion. Everything unfortunately is like, I have too many 1-toughness creatures for their Dark Blast, so everything's just gonna die. Spreading Seas might be okay. You need a dark mode? There's nothing I can do about this. This is Magic the Gathering Online. They're kicking me while I'm down, chat. They're kicking me while I'm down. Okay, Spreading Seas is not too bad because it can kill off double red for Ox of Igonus, but it's still also not that great. I don't know what to do for this matchup. Chalice is not great, but it turns off Dark Blast and that Otherworld... I think, what's it called? Otherworldly Light? We need some calming music, chat. The calming music has arrived. In the moment that we are absolute screwed. Maybe Ratchet Bomb is fine. Hold on, Dismember is just awful. Okay, let's get that out of the way. So we'll play the Ratchet Bomb. Screw it, we'll play some Spreading Seas. Dim my screen? Yeah, go dim your screen. Maybe Merfolk Splash Black for Urtai Resurrected. I think that's a bit too big of a splash for one card, especially at 4 mana. I would love to go first. This is just, like, not a very good hand. What can I beat with this hand? Nothing. I have no interaction. I would like at least one force negation. Gonna mulligan. Gonna get a little greedy. This hand is not good either, but I shall keep it because I don't want to go further, and maybe, I don't know. This hand is very similar to the last one. Our opponent mulligans to 5 cards. This is a great spot for force negation, or just any counter magic in general. We have like max counter spells in this deck. How many did we draw? None. Subtlety offers at least some interaction. Well, not really. I mean, it interacts with Ox, but that's it. White mana. We can do with that. Oh. Red mana. Gain 2 life. You may discard 2 cards. If you do, draw 3 cards. You got it, bub. And you gain the life. Dark Blast. Exactly what I did not want to see. And Otherworldly Gaze. Okay. I want to Conflagrate. Cutthroat. Cut you up. Ooh, counter spell. If I play Sveloon here, flashback, discard X cards. That's nasty. I don't really want that to happen. I think I'm just going to attack. Top 3 cards of your library, so you can do this again. Okay, I think I'm going to attack, and then we'll figure it out from there. Need to wait for my opponent to have few enough cards. Like, I don't want to play Sveloon. It doesn't have quite indestructible yet. I don't know, maybe we'll counter this. They're making the... What?! No dredgers, huh? I could just run a Nimble Obstructionist out there. Do you have any more land drops? Another option I have is I can Subtlety pitching Sveloon. And then we keep the Nimble for Ox. Or can I hit this? Can I hit Flashback? Is that an ability? I actually don't know the full number of things that I can counter. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost. I can't tell if this is an ability that I can counter with this. Yeah, I know. Okay, this is a bit ridiculous, but... Or I could dump the Nimble Obstructionist and have Sveloon up. No, okay, we're keeping max interaction. Okay, Brian Bourne, let's go! Let's go! We're going the whole million miles with you. We're gonna prove to everyone that you're worth something. Another Dark Blast. Dredge 3. Okay, hold on. Now I think I'll Nimble Obstructionist and cast. And hope they don't have another land to bring it back. And if they kill off my Nimble Obstructionist, whatever. Good job, man. Good job. Yeah, nothing. I got 1 card left, but I've got a Nimble Obstructionist in sorry, a Brineborn Cutthroat in play. It's effectively a 2/2. Oh shoot, can they just bring it back, play a land, and kill it? Oh, they might be able to do that. No, this plan sucks. Don't play lands. They didn't play a land! 7 damage! I'm gonna win game 2 and lose game 3. It was not my plan, but that's what's gonna happen. Its flashback is an activated ability or an alternate cost. Okay, that's good to know. Creeping chill. That's not nice. Oh, this can also counter like a Narcomoeba trigger or something. What do they put their hand? They have the Dark Blast, so I don't want to counter anything right now, just yet. Okay, go for the attackies. They're gonna go for the thingamabob, I guess. Do I just let this happen? Seems pointless to interact with. Okay, if I hit it... Okay, you know what? Let's just screw this thing. We're countering it. It's gonna die next turn anyway, that's fine. Oh, they're actually gonna cast this card. They put 2 lands in the graveyard. Oh, they found a Narcomoeba. That's not good. That's not good. I can't take up my Blast Zone now. And also, Brineborn is gonna be met with some anger. Yeah, filthy dredge player. Alright, pass. What is the edge to dredge right now? The edge to dredge. One thing that helps us is they're taking a lot of damage off of their mana base. That's some good news. Where do you rank dredge in your tier list of mechanics? Oh, it's very powerful. It's S tier for sure. It's so powerful that they intentionally printed like a slew of graveyard hate to deal with this deck. Just tons. Just tons and tons and tons of graveyard hate. They just went wild. All the graveyard hate you see is like printed in the last 6 years after... No, maybe not the 6. Yeah, around 6, 7, 8. After Dredge was invented. Coincidence? I think not. Dredge is worse than Storm. It's harder to interact with. You have that Dredge hate or you don't. Okay, take 8, I go to... Sorry, take 6, go to 8. I gotta deal with that stupid thing. I do believe we are going to die a horrible death. What is this? 9 at the moment, so I cannot do anything. I just have to pass. I can do nothing, really. I don't think they intentionally gave Dredge anything. It's just that over time, like a lot of these cards can be put in a Dredge deck. Mind you, remember, they're not, like a lot of these cards that got added to this deck, they didn't consider Dredge in mind when they were making them. They don't care. A lot of the thought goes into Standard. And a lot, even more thought is probably going to be going into Pioneer these days. They do consider Modern now, because they realize they're rocking the format a lot, but like, they're intentionally rocking it in that case. Okay, I'd be dead. I'll just resign. GG's. No. I will be, given how I've constructed my deck, I have a disadvantage here. Honestly, I've been playing against a lot of Dredge, so maybe I shouldn't be, like, throwing this game. This is not a match I should... Maybe this is not a match I should throw. Like, it's still not really getting results, but a lot of people are playing it. Oh, well. Thanks for the game. It was a pleasure, pleasure to beat you. You're welcome. All right, let's get to round 5. This is not the showing I wanted to make for this deck. But I might have been able to play better in the first two the round 2 and 3. Round 4, I have no chance. I know I'm in bad shape. Man, the spam bop's just throwing Putin out there. Is it? Only 69 mega. Only Putin didn't find girls with us. Didn't they say that they would consider Eternal formats again for new sets? Oh, they are doing that now, but they're not playtesting anything. But I don't think they're trying to help decks like Dredge. I don't think they're trying to help decks like this. They want to make Graveyard cards, because Graveyard is a strategy. Like, this is definitely a strategy that has been part of Magic for an incredibly long time. And they will continue to print cards, but the deck that will abuse it the most would be Dredge. But make no mistake, Living End is out there. Not sure why there is not as much Living End now. You won the die roll. Would you like to play first? Absolutely. Don't mind if I do. I won the die roll, so I'm going to keep. I got a hand with counter spells and creatures and lands. I didn't see the appeal of graveyard decks until I built one myself, yes. Well, I mean, it's not for everyone, so... And I suggest if anyone builds a graveyard deck that you have a second deck on hand, because when people are prepared for you, your deck probably does nothing, and you're going to be feeling absolutely sick and miserable to your stomach. Like, oh, I don't do anything. Oh, another burn deck. Okay, hopefully we're prepared this time. Our hand is pretty decent. Lava Spike on turn 1. Definitely counter this. I think Chill specifically was designed specifically for Dredge decks. They basically printed a limited version of Dredge for limited via Surveil and Guilds. I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I doubt it. I think it's very clear, like, what they're doing with Storm is that they're actually not trying to really enable those decks. They're actually trying to hurt those decks. They know the mechanic is not good. So, but they don't want to make they don't want to make cards that have nothing to do with, they don't want to stop making cards that have anything to do with the graveyard. And mind you, Creeping Chill is like more of a, maybe more of a limited card. Okay, I gotta counter something, right? Or maybe in the end I have nothing to counter. Okay, let's not make the same mistake we made last time. Jeez, they had a bunch of 1-drops. Yeah, let's get in there with that Sveiloon. Another Brazen Borrower. Let's go after their draw step. And if they have like Searing Blaze, they gotta play it for one damage instead of 3. 1 Goblin Guide. I think you can keep that. Or maybe not. Maybe that's more annoying than the random burn spell. But if you play Fire... Okay, you can keep all this. If you play Fiery Islet and then Goblin Guide, you can't burn me. Or I guess you can. You got a land in hand, right? Yeah, you could, I guess. It's possible. There's the guide. Fairy Conclave. Block you. Rift Bolt gets exiled. Another Sveiloon. These draws are sort of crap, but whatever. So, I mean, if they draw Swift Spear or something, I can block with Fairy Conclave. Or I guess I could just bounce it with Brazen Borrower. Maybe I should have played Blast Zone so that if they play a 1-drop, I can just bounce it and play a Brazen Borrower and attack for like 6. We're not out of the woods yet. Although I am attacking for a lot. The Eidolon. So I'm gonna make them chump block? No, they're dead. They be dead. Fairy Conclaves to the rescue. Svaelun is a nice card. Also can help. Sometimes it's you like get drained of resources versus burn, and Svaelun just brings you back to life. Okay, Nimble Obstructionist can actually interact with Rift Bolt. Maybe it's not enough though. Okay, hold on. What did I do last time? Take out the Ratchet Bombs for sure. We took out 2 Brazen Borrowers. Brought in the Spell Starter Sprites. Maybe that's all we did. Does burn use Islet normally? Yeah. I will keep this hand. We could get run over though. There's a Swift Spear. Hey, Tenulis. Boros Charm. Okay, that's a lot of damage. So I guess we're going to do our best to prevent that damage. I guess I'm going to just put Chalice on 2. Chalice on 1 because my hand is a bit clunky. And I don't want to do nothing. Damn, I wish I knew I was going to draw Svaelun off the top of my deck. Chalice on 1 is always awkward though. Because I prefer Chalice on 2 big time. There's the 2 drops. Well, that's useful. Alright, so we can pass and then maybe bounce the Swift Spear. Try to prevent some more damage. Ha! It's already working. Got him. Would you like to attack into my Mutavault? Apparently not. Given up on... No, I haven't given up on Pauper at all, but I do have to prioritize the big main event at Magic 30. Alright, Svaeluni. You will see more Pauper content out of me. Today we're going to be playing 2 Modern, but next week I'll have Modern Pauper. Or not next week, the next stream. I've just seen the 4 of Sunbay Canyons, never seen the Islets. Some will go to the Islet route, or I don't think there's it's a budget version to do the other way. What day is the main event? I'm only there Sunday. It's across Friday and Saturday, so you can play day 1 on Friday or day 1 on day 2, and then day 2 is on Sunday. Sorry, you can play day 1 on Friday and Saturday. Well, this isn't going as planned. Oh, God. The 3 drops, people. All right, so it's time for Mission Attack. That is a great draw. Ugh, I can't play stuff fast. Okay, I'm guaranteed some damage if I do it this way, so. Okay, that's not too bad. And I'll just play Brazen Bar at end of turn. Or maybe I'll play Brineborn? No, I'll play Brazen because it opens up my mana. We got it just in time, people. We got it just in time. Oh, I screwed that up. I should play Brineborn first. Then I would have got a counter. Well, let's go, 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 go. For 6/8. There's no point attacking with more. Keep some mana open just in case I draw a counterspell. That's not a bad counterspell. That's not bad. All right. Big old chalice on 2 here. So it's 3 drops or bust. And they don't find it in time. We win the match. So this was a pretty disappointing league, given that I think we were up against 4 great matchups. Well, I don't know if Burn's a great matchup, to be honest. We have a lot of counter magic, but they can be really fast. And we make no mistake, getting Blast Zone. Maybe I should keep this member in versus Burn. Probably not. That sounds silly. But if I'm on the play, it's not but if I'm on the play, it's not unreasonable, but then I'll get, like, Ratchet Bomb off really quickly. Trevor says, hey, Nikachu, great to see you when it's not 6 a.m. I agree. I agree. Okay, so, well, I didn't prove anything today. We went 2-3, which was a miserable result. Although I have to admit we got some good matchups, but if Dredge is going to be a bigger deck, then I have to do something with Relic. I have to be honest. I have Spell Stutter Sprite in here for the Cascade decks, and I'm just not playing against them. Where are they? And if I'm not finding them, then I might as well take the Spell Stutter Sprite out, just add more Ratchet Bombs in the matchups that have creatures. But I'm just not running into those decks. Like, I don't need that much counter magic, although it is useful. Gonna make any card changes? I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna make any changes. I know Spreading Seas still did. I mean, based on how that game played, the whole league played out, Spreading Seas would not have been better than Brineborn in the main deck. Brineborn would have been useful a lot in the Murktide matchup, but I never used it. Why not just play the new Merfolk? Because this deck has much better game versus Hammer Time. Prowess decks, a lot of decks. This deck just has so much more control, and I think even against Living End, this deck is just better. Living End has a lot of game versus Merfolk. It's actually not easy. Same thing with the Cascade decks. This deck has a lot of game versus Cascade. Counterspell, like Chalice on 0, Force Negation, Counterspell, and then just like the aerial attack. It's so good. Whereas, the Hexcatcher version, first off, you get completely wiped off the face of the earth like versus Hammer Time. This is just a bad matchup versus Hammer, which is why I have 4 Hurkyl's Recalls here. But we're gonna play it. I'm gonna try to adopt what I've used in this deck and try to put in the Hexcatcher deck. I know there's a lot of different variations of the deck, but that's what we're gonna do next. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me here today, and see you in the Merfolk side.